what do you think that difference is?
I think mainly it was just I had to fucking do those things versus now when you're an entrepreneur, your limit on, like, back then there was like cemented concrete goals, like do this class, get this grade, go to work, get this paycheck, and you have a certain amount of scheduled shifts, go, talk to this chick, go on a date with her, do whatever, that sort of thing. Like there was cemented, like concrete things that had to be done versus now my business is basically bottlenecked by there's no concrete anything. Like I have to set my own deadlines or else they don't exist. So I could like sit here and do fucking nothing for a month. And the only detriment would be my business would grow slower. Not that something would implode, not that anything would go wrong. Cause like I'm in a good position where I could hypothetically just fucking sit here. So for me, I think it was more so that I had so many things I had to do. And I felt like completely obligated to get those done, or else I wouldn't get like, I don't know, like I'd paid a shit ton for university. Like I'm going to go to class. I'm going to like complete the exam. I'm going to do this.
You know what? This is really, really good advice. I think the smartest thing a man could do. How old are you, by the way?
29.
29. Okay. I'm 30. I'm basically the same age. I think the smartest thing a man can do is when you're 18, 19, 20, 18 to 25, do not fucking party. Like here and there. Yes. Here and there. Yeah. But guys do it completely wrong. They waste all that energy and youthfulness and exuberance on partying when they're broke. And then when they're 26, they stop.
Yeah.
And then, if you flip the script, if you just focus on, if you find a mechanism to really to do, for you, it's been YouTube and then launching your businesses. For me, it's been something quite similar. But if you find a mechanism, like be hyper focused in your early 20s. And because I had that similar experience as you, where and then when now you can, like, if you take a step back, things are moving, you're just growing slower. Then that's the time to have fun and party. So I think I'll say this right now, like the way society is moving makes it a lot easier for you and me to compete when most guys in their early 20s are just partying and getting drunk and getting, useless university degrees. And then, and again, it's easier to, as a man, it's easier to be broke and not have money to spend when you're, 22. When you're 30, you don't want to have to not spend any money.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if I could, sometimes I am kind of pissed when I think back to the amount of time I wasted in university, going to these classes, doing all these things that weren't like, I got a business degree and it was not actually useful whatsoever to marketing, even though it was a degree in marketing. It was not useful in any capacity because ultimately your professors are just like people who got degrees in marketing who are now teaching marketing, not people who've actually built successful businesses. So like in hindsight, if I started what I was doing in my earlier to mid 20s, if I started at like fucking 18 or 19 and didn't go to university at all, I'm like, damn, like maybe I could be where I am now, like at 24 or 25.
You could have had 4 years of partying.
Yeah. So at the same time, it's kind of interesting though, because like I think a lot of people have a misguided idea or perception of what is a resourceful use of time to like get chicks or something, like going to the club and like blowing money on drinks. Like the amount of time it even takes to go plan a night, like go from your house to downtown, like wherever you are, like Vancouver, Toronto or something. The logistics of getting a chick back from that club, hypothetically, all the way to your place, like 30 minutes away or something, and spending all night at this club and fucking up your sleep, that's going to ruin your next day too. Like, I don't know, like, I guess Tinder and stuff didn't exist when I was first getting into like the dating life. But like nowadays, there are so much more time efficient, resourceful, and smart ways to go about even like speed tracking your dating life too, that it just like makes, I don't know, it's just like baffling to me that people still go do the whole like club scene in their early 20s when they have like no money or anything like that.
Yeah. I think you can. Yeah. If because I've seen my peers, I don't know if everyone else's peers or their experiences are different, but like the culture of drinking where I'm from, it's like, 20-year-old, they're going out 2-3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. They're going like, they're spending money that they shouldn't spend, Uber here, $80 at the bar. Like they're spending a lot. And like, I think that the smartest thing to do, if you're a long-term thinker, I'm a long-term thinker. I'm focused on my goals. I don't want instant gratification. I want to sacrifice now to get somewhere else. So if you're a long-term thinker, it makes sense to put that energy into your business. And one of the other big costs is money, time, logistics, all these things. But the other big cost is like, I didn't notice this when I was younger, but like if you are one kind of big day of drinking can just affect your next day, and just it slows you down. You might not notice it that day, but like, if you're getting hammered once a week or twice a week, if you're getting drunk once or twice a week, the difference in success you experience is it just changes it. The guy that gets drunk kind of just stays the same, makes maybe some little improvement, kind of just maintains the same. Whereas the guy that does it, like when I was on my biggest growth curve, I would drink, but like just maybe 2 or 3 drinks and I'd stop, and then I was essentially sober. But the guy that's kind of sharp kind of just makes that just consistent improvement, as opposed to, one step back, gets hungover here. It really affects you. I've seen some I'm not perfect. I do drink, but I've seen some very, very successful people, and if they're on the up and up, they're not just coasting, they're on the up and up. They don't talk about it. They don't drink.
It like impacts, I think, your success accumulation so dramatically if you waste money on that stuff early too. Cause it's like when you first start building a business, like the ability to hire an editor or to hire a marketing, somebody who does ads for you, or to be able to hire a designer or to do anything, every dollar like hits. And it fucking hurts when you're that poor. So it's like, if you're spending 1 week, like out buying drinks at an expensive club, Ubering because you can't drink and drive, obviously, all of these different things, like that eats into your resources, like so much more proportionally than if you've built up wealth and then you do those things. So it's like, now I never believe in the whole, like, except when you start the saving and like being chintzy as fuck with your money. Like now I love the opportunity to be able to, if I go out, like I don't think about a meal. I don't think about drinks. I don't think about fucking Ubering a girl to and from my place. Like none of that stuff like impacts my concern of how much money is able to be allocated to business opportunities. But when you were like starting for the first like 1-2 years, like one night out can like not only fuck up your like mental resources and ability to be productive and have like, that's one day out the window too, potentially, of, as well as a week of gains, maybe if you get hammered. I don't know like how dramatic that is, but it's like hits you in many ways. But like that $300 or $200 or $100, like whatever it is, like really eats into whatever like tiny little fucking margin you had to work with to work on your side hustle that you hope one day turns into an actual business. For sure.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a mass. And then some guys, they'll spend money that, they'll have no freaking savings. And then they like, it's a mentality thing. It's literally a mentality thing. Like, if my income was 10% of what I make now, or 10 times it, or it's even when I was making very little, like, I just liked seeing my bank account go up. I like the security of seeing, that comfort in my bank account. Some people have the opposite. They make more money and they spend it. And so if you want to make a good business decision, you have to have like, you have to be sitting on the right amount of money. And if you have to make a certain decision because you don't have enough money, because like the goal is to like get out of that mode as fast as possible. Like, use your time, energy wisely, especially in your 20s. Don't put that extra energy into just partying. I waited to part till I was 25 to party mostly. But it makes a huge difference.
Like subconsciously, your tolerance to risk is so much lower too. If you're constantly like just constant bank account and you don't see it like escalating at all, like you don't feel the like big decisions at every point of like an entrepreneur's career. There's like some point where you have to put in more money than you're comfortable with to do something at some point to like make that next leap in your business progression. And your ability to do that leap, like whatever point it is, whether it's like 50 grand to buy like 1/3 of a business, or, later down the line, like $1 million to buy a fuck ton of inventory, those jumps, like you are not going to have the same tolerance to risk if you had those nights where you were constantly like burning like fucking $200.
You know what's interesting? This is something that not too many people talk about, but success, making a lot of money, achieving success, it's rarely ever the most intelligent. A lot of times the most intelligent have actually low risk tolerance. And they end up kind of taking the safer path, and they don't really have the mechanism to make millions of dollars. And a lot of times, you know, that's if you have a high above average IQ and, you know, you're, you know, focus on point, all of this, and you can tolerate risk, that helps. My risk tolerance is almost too high. Yeah. My risk tolerance is pretty freaking high. Yeah. And it's not like, oh, just from, you know, because my brothers are they're not as like risk takers. I love fucking taking risk, but I have to, like, you know, you have to balance it out. But I'm I like, you know, I like taking risk. But yeah, like if you're not willing to handle any bit of risk because you don't plan, and in order to do that, you have to like build yourself like a comfort and have that. But if you're not willing to, if you can't handle risk tolerance and you don't put yourself in a position to handle any risk tolerance, you're never going to be able to make real money.
Yeah. Yeah. Building up whatever that, like, everyone at some point has like their side hustle and like an actual job. Like everyone had like a normal full-time job that paid some, like, you know, maybe a good amount if you're lucky. But for me, it was like, I never had a job that paid more than like $20 an hour as a bouncer, as a lifeguard, as a like fucking golf course attendant, like all the different things I did. So for me, it was like taking leaps in business. Like back then, spending like 10 grand was like fucking massive, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe I wouldn't have been able to enter into business opportunities at all if I was being stupid with my money and going on like extravagant like nights out and shit like that.